Welcome to another episode of UA Hustlers with me, Sreekumar. My guest today, in her full-time job, helps other individuals set up their dream businesses and companies in Dubai. But her true passion lies in the world of clinical hypnotherapy. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and that's what she does as a side hustle. In today's episode, we'll try and understand how it is to set up a company in UAE. Is it easy? Is it hard? What goes into it? What's the process like? But we'll also dive deep into the world of clinical hypnotherapy. Just understand what it is all about. Is it for someone like you and I? Do we really need it? Is it hyped, or is there something really concrete behind it? Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Keerthi Sreekumar. Welcome to the podcast, Keerthi.
Thank you so much, Sparsh. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, it's my pleasure. And how's your day going so far?
Fantastic. It's been a busy day, but very nice day today.
Good.
Let's say that.
That's good. So, Keerthi, usually before I dive into the company and the whole world of clinical hypnotherapy, I usually like to understand your background. So, in terms of how long you've been in the UAE?
So, this is my 10th year now.
Nice.
It's been a decade in Dubai.
That's a long time.
So, that's a very long time. Yes.
And how's Dubai been treating you so far? You like it here?
I love it.
Yeah.
So, the initial year, let's say, I was not very sure. There were times when I wanted to go back.
Right.
But the way this place had made it home for me, this is second home now.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That's good.
I love Dubai.
That's good. All right, so let's dive into your company. So your company primarily helps other individuals set up businesses and companies in Dubai, if I got that right. Yeah,
That's right.
So of all the things, how did you decide to start a business in this field?
So when I was working in these business centers, we had a lot of clients who wanted to set up companies.
Okay.
So from there, I used to deal with Dubai Economic Department. I used to deal with the free zones.
Okay.
So there was some experience that I got already. And by then, there was this one time when I felt like there is a need of freedom for time and space.
Okay.
I think that was the main thing why I started my company.
Okay.
Because I felt like I wanted to be where I wanted to, when I wanted to be.
That is so important, especially
Yes.
in today's age. Yeah, that's a big game changer.
Yeah. So when I realized that this is something that I really want, I left it there. I left it as a thought. And one fine day, one client was sitting in front of me and he said, Keerthi, you're setting up companies for everybody.
Yeah.
Why don't you try doing this yourself? Why are you not setting it up for yourself? You've been handling, the consultation, the setting up, the visas, everything. And that kind of striked me. And by then, let's say I was into meditation and I was into angelic Reiki. So I used to start noting down these ideas that used to come because I kind of felt like these are the ideas from the universe and I wanted to make sense out of it. So I just started making a note. And one by one, I started the name of the company. I thought about the name of the company and that also I wrote it down. And in 1 month's time, even without me knowing, the company made a form. I mean, it took a form and it was called Euphoria Corporate Services. So that's how Euphoria came into being.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Keerthi, could you tell me, like, in terms of the services you guys offer, could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when a new client comes in, they will come with an idea to set up a business, right?
Correct.
So we do the initial consulting. We understand what they want. We will ask them questions on what activity they want to set up. So some will be general trading, digital marketing, and even restaurant consulting. So there will be different kind of activities.
Yeah.
So now we ask them which area they want to do their business in.
Okay.
So because there is Dubai mainland, there are free zones like Sharjah Immediate City. So then we give them an idea of the pros and cons depending on the activities they want to do.
Okay.
So then they will choose, I want to do mainland or I want to do Sharjah Media City or IFZA. So once they choose the region, we give them the pricing.
Okay.
So we give them the pricing, then they do a comparison of the pricing as well. And then they give us a, go ahead. And then we set up the business license. We give them a time frame. We give them a scope of work.
Okay.
And we do the business license, then the visas, then the bank account, and even the golden visas. We are handling the golden visas. We help them find the office spaces.
Okay.
So all these services are included.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like an end-to-end service. For anyone who wants to start a business, you take care of them and also guide them through the entire process.
That's right.
Oh, that's amazing, Keerthi. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems to be lucrative, I feel like.
It is. See, let me say the competition is high, especially in Dubai market. You will find a lot of company incorporation business setup companies.
Right.
But I feel Dubai is a place where that many investors come, that many, entrepreneurs come. And because it's a land of land of opportunities, there is enough for everyone.
Yeah.
So I never felt like the other companies are competition.
Understood.
Because there is enough for all of us
Yeah.
to help these people to set up
Yeah,
companies.
that's true. And Keerthi, I have a question. Now, how is the process in setting up the businesses or companies for others? Is it tedious? Is it easy? Is it time consuming? In your experience, what would that be?
So it depends on the activities.
Okay.
So I would say Dubai is a place which is comparatively very easy
Okay.
to start a company. They have made it very friendly for the entrepreneurs. They have made it easier in terms of the documentation, and now everything is online too.
Correct.
So everything is paperless if you want to make it. So again, it depends on the activities. So if it's a branch company, it'll be a little more work there. If it is like a simple activity like digital marketing or trading, it'll be very less work.
Okay.
So it depends on the kind of activity you want to do.
Okay. That's clear. All right, so now you have your company that you're managing full time, but your true passion lies in clinical hypnotherapy.
There you go, yes.
Okay, my biggest question, what the hell is this thing? I have no idea, but I've been reading about it recently everywhere, and clinical hypnotherapy is talked about so much. I don't know why. So could you just tell me, what is clinical hypnotherapy? What is it all about? And what drove you to it? Why did you get into it? And how is this? I mean, it started out as your side hustle, but from what I understand, it's taking a bigger space in your life now. So if you could tell me what clinical hypnotherapy is, and then also touch on how you got into it.
So let's say we all look for that help when we're really low in our life,
Yes,
right? One of the
100%.
lows, like you really have to feel like you need some kind of help. So 2 years. So if I go back, let's say I first read this book, The Secret. I'm not sure if you know.
Yes, I've
So
heard
in
of
my
it, yeah.
10th standard. So I read this book and I was very intrigued by, the things that it said, manifestation, affirmations, things that, you are so powerful. And I was like, wow, what is this talking about? But I read it and I just kept it aside. And then during my teenage, I think that's when, again, the first lows of your life would be like where we are consciously aware would be your teenage. And I wanted to get my attention away from what I was feeling at that time. So I went back to the book. I was like, okay, this is talking about manifesting what I want, affirmations and that and this. And I gave it a shot. So I was just interested and I gave it a shot. And somehow the stars aligned, or, whatever right thing I did or whatever the actions took, it went smooth and things kind of worked out.
Okay.
I left it there. Then years later, again, when I was not feeling so good, that's when I go to learn something. So I don't allow myself to feel what I'm feeling. I have a tendency to go find out something to learn so that I can take my mind away.
Distract yourself.
Yeah. So, but that has worked for me. It was kind of a coping mechanism. But
I think it's a great coping mechanism. If you're going to learn something new, I think that's fantastic.
So that's when I learned NLP.
Okay.
So neuro-linguistic programming. So that is about mind and the mind's language and how, the brain works, how the neuro-linguistic language works.
Okay.
And how you can use this brain language to get what you want. So it was like a little correlation with what Secret is, but did not make much sense. Later again, I did my Angelic Reiki, and that is when I started doing my meditations, and it just brought a sense of calmness. And as I was moving forward and I was doing my work in Euphoria, let's say 2 years back, suddenly, my work was good, my finances was good, health-wise I was doing fantastic. But then suddenly, in relationships, a disconnect. And I'm not understanding why the disconnect. It's not like something I want, but still, there is a disconnect. And before that, I had different reasons, and, different people gave me different reasons, let's say. But this time, I just couldn't understand what was happening. And I've always been a person who needed answers for myself. In terms of, there were a lot of people suggesting, giving their perspectives. But I had a lot of questions. I was a lot of questions on why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And I couldn't find any logical answers to it. Absolutely no logical answers. And there I am, again, not feeling so good. And I want to learn something, right? So whenever I have that mind, something or the other comes up, like how NLP came, how Angelic Reiki came. This time I saw a post of a friend's sister on Instagram, and it said, learn clinical hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting. What is clinical hypnotherapy? And it said, know your mind.
Know your mind.
So that just struck me, know your mind, because that is what actually I wanted to know at that point. And I was like, okay. I contacted this person and she connected me to her mentor then.
Yeah.
And I call her, my therapist and my mentor now, Nisha.
Yes.
I call her and I said, hello, I want to learn this and how, I just want to understand what
how
it
can I
is.
go about
How
it?
can I go about it? So she called me in her office and she said, okay, come, we'll speak about it and then you can enroll yourself. So I went there and I'm sitting across the table with her and she started telling me something called the theory of mind. So she was explaining like how mind works and how our belief systems are formed between the age of 0 to 9.
Wow.
Yeah. Because 60% of our personality is formed inside the mother's womb and the rest,
What? Okay.
DNA, cell memories. So these are all proven techniques. And based on Dr. John Kappa's model of hypnotherapy is what we all learned. Nisha explained the theory of mind.
Okay.
And in the theory of mind, it explained how belief systems are.
Yeah.
And the 10% is our conscious mind and 90% is the subconscious mind.
Very interesting. So you're saying all of this is being formed at a time in our lives or in an age group where we don't really have control over what we are absorbing and what we are not. It's just based on the environment. Wow.
So it's based on your parents, environment, and also your experiences. So the
0 to 9, it's...
But then later, 0 to 9, you have these, and then later your experiences will affirm what you believed is right.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what happens is, so she was explaining this, and I was suddenly like, oh my God, she's talking about certain patterns, which just struck me. Oh my God. Am I operating from this space? Am I operating from that space?
Yeah.
Because 10% conscious mind is where logical thinking is, which helps you to move forward in life, which tells you your rights and wrongs. But the 90% is where all the illogical things are. Let's say the belief systems, which you probably would have forgotten. I'll give you some examples. Let's say your involuntary actions, like when you sleep, you're breathing, your system is working. All this is because subconscious mind doesn't sleep. It has to be active for all of these to run. So now, though it is just 10% the conscious mind, your life runs, your reality runs based on this 90% subconscious.
Wow. Okay.
So what is in there actually runs your reality now. So when she said that, and she said, we attract. So if I have a belief system saying that I am not enough, like maybe I was brought up in a very competitive environment and my parents would be like, study this. There's so much pressure. Luckily, my parents were not like that. But I'm saying there are chances, like, a lot of my clients have experienced this. So they feel like, oh, I'm not enough. So they just make a belief system in the subconscious that I'm not enough.
And you're not deserving of anything coming
Anything. Now what happens, if you believe in something, you will make sure, if you're having an argument and you believe in something, we will make sure that point is proven. The same with the mind. So mind believes this, it will attract all the situations to prove you right.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So then what happens as you grow? Because you feel you're not enough, you will start overdoing things. You will become a people pleaser, even without understanding why you're doing. Your boundaries won't be that strong. So this becomes a pattern for the person. So for the same way, then she said all of this, I'm like, oh my God, am I attracting my reality? Till now, I was on a victim space.
Right.
Now I suddenly thought, okay, if I am attracting, why am I attracting this? What is my belief system? And that is when I told Nisha, let's take few sessions for me. I want to know what is inside of me. And then I move on to learn.
Okay.
So we did couple of sessions and I was so amazed. There was aha moments of my life where I did not even realize these were my belief systems. And I did not understand because of this, I had certain patterns in my relationship or any other area. It could be any other area.
Of course.
And down 4 sessions down, there was one of the level 1 of clinical hypnotherapy came up and I enrolled.
Okay.
And then it just went on. I just couldn't stop. The answers came one after the other, and level 5 completed. And then,
Wow.
yeah, it's 5 levels. And that's how the journey was.
As a client or as someone who wants to try out clinical hypnotherapy, is it for everybody, or is it like you need to, I wouldn't say reach a certain stage or experience certain things, but can anyone just come and sign up for hypnotherapy? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, see, not everybody needs therapy, right? Because we all have like coping mechanisms. We all have our defense mechanisms, and we are made to be strong and work on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
What happens is there are 4 areas of our lives. One is health, one is wealth, one is career,
Yep.
and one is relationships.
Yeah.
So these are the 4 areas of our lives. Health, wealth, career, and relationships. You just need to look into where you are stuck.
Okay.
And once you identify that, you can try noticing, is there a pattern there?
Okay.
Okay. Have you experienced certain pattern in your career? Okay. Maybe your relationship with your bosses. Every time with the bosses, you're experiencing the same relationship. Or in your wealth. Are you stuck somewhere? Are you feeling like you're not earning enough? Then there will always be a belief system attached to it. For example, I'll tell you, money. See, from the time we are like a child, we're always the movies shows that the people who earn well are the villains, right? Our parents or like our society says, oh, the other guy has a lot of money, he's doing something wrong. So our belief system with money as a child has always been a little negative.
Yeah.
So sometimes we start to believe that if I earn so much money, I might end up being a bad person.
You feel guilty for earning
Feel
more.
guilty. And you might feel like
I don't
people will
deserve it.
start looking at me as a bad person.
Okay, yes.
If I earn so much money, because all the people who are earning money are villains in movies. Like that's the biggest example. And when you continuously feed this information, there is a neural pathway that forms in our brain. So it's completely scientifically proven, and which has the belief system that money is associated to not being such a good person. So no matter how much we try, we are not going to attract that kind of money. We won't allow ourselves subconsciously to reach where we are. Like, for example, career. I was discussing this with my mentor on initial days. There was a client who was working in one famous company in Abu Dhabi, oil and gas company. And no matter what he was doing, he was not getting promotion. He was there for like 10 years. He's doing brilliant. He has no issues with his bosses. His IJPs are going fantastic. But not getting that promotion. And his bosses were like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And then he comes back home. His wife is not happy because for so many years, he's working and he's not getting a promotion.
Yeah.
So he came to us speaking about the stress. But when we went down, what we found out was he had a family back in Trivandrum. They were doing really well. 2 kids, him and his brother, mom and dad. Dad was a banker. Mom and dad, both of them used to do work and take care of these kids.
Right.
One fine day, dad gets a promotion. The promotion is along with a space change. Like from Trivandrum,
He needs to relocate or move.
relocate. So now the mom started taking care of the house alone. Dad used to come over the weekend and play with the children. Everything was fine. Until one fine day, dad decided now when he comes home fighting with mom. So dad started staying in the hotel.
Okay.
And then he used to just come and meet them and then go back. One fine day, there was an argument where the mom is saying, from the day you have got this promotion, there is no peace in this house. And this 5-year-old child was right next to his mom. And he just picked up that promotion no peace.
No peace at home.
More peace at home. And that became his belief system. Though he wasn't aware at this 40 years age
Yeah.
that could be a reason at all.
Yeah.
But that belief system
Yeah.
stopped him from getting where he had to.
Oh my God. And he wasn't even aware of it.
He wasn't even aware of.
Okay.
So in clinical hypnotherapy, you just go into a deep meditative state.
Okay.
Let's say that's called trance, like hypnosis. So in this state, like what is trance if you ask me?
Do you take a pendulum and just go like, go
That's
to
what
sleep?
everybody thinks. That's what everybody thinks. But let's say the first thing that you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
you're not completely awake.
True.
Yeah, but you're still there. You might remember your dreams, but if you sleep again, you'll forget, right? That is trance.
Okay.
Same thing right before you sleep. So if you know, I'm not sure if you know, like 9 to 10 o'clock is the time where advertising companies pays the maximum for getting that slot on television.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that is when they have direct access to your
The
subconscious
subconscious
mind. So they feed it continuously what they want to sell, and it just becomes a need for us. And we go and pick up the right thing.
That is very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the same way, trance is just a meditative state, a focused state.
Okay.
So when the conscious mind has so much information and so chaotic, we just get you to that relaxed state to find out exactly what is the deep-seated belief system
Okay.
or the core issue.
Okay.
That is not letting you move forward.
But would you get unconscious in hypnotherapy?
That's a very common question. But no, Spash, like if I have to speak to you to understand what's in your mind, right? So if you go unconscious, there is no talking, there's no conversation.
Right.
So usually when clients ask this, we usually I give them like a demo. You know, I take them
prove
to a
it to them.
small demo and then I tell them this is it. Sometimes they come out and say, was I even hypnotized? Was I even in trance?
Okay.
So many of my clients say, no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
But then they relate to the questions and they relate to the things that they find out and then they say, wow.
Okay.
So yeah. It's just knowing yourself better is what I would say.
And Keerthi, one thing I've heard is, they say when you are in this deep state of hypnosis, I don't know how true this is, maybe you can clear it for me. They say that you are able to pick up, I wouldn't say beliefs, but thoughts or things that you face in your past life. Is that even a thing, or is it just fluff that people make around hypnotherapy? I'm just really curious because
I understand. See, this is a big question that past life exists. See, things that we don't understand, we might just completely dismiss it.
Correct.
But for me, let's say past life would be an ancestral memory or a cell memory. So if you're scientifically connected, you have genes, you have cells that is transferred from your ancestors or your grandparents or your grandparents' parents. So there could be a chance it could be a cell memory. So we could always consider that it's a cell memory.
Okay.
But personally, if you ask me, I always tell my clients that even if they go to past life, right? Even if they pick up memories and we figure out it's a past life or an ancestral memory, the awareness coming from it, if that is, you are able to relate to it with the present life, then that is it. You
And if
don't have to get into the whole
Right.
mysterious thing about past life or like get into the stories behind it.
Yeah.
But if that is making sense in your current life,
Yeah.
take the learning and move forward.
And if it's helping you solve one of your issues,
One of your
then
issues.
why not? Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's an
So you
interesting
don't have to
perspective.
necessarily see it as a past life.
Yeah.
Scientifically, it's cell memory.
Okay.
Could be just cell memories coming from,
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That works. And, Keerthi,
I'm glad I made it easy.
who wants to be a client, who wants to experience clinical hypnotherapy, how many sessions would you say will it take for you to, one, stay consistent and also to see some results that you are looking for?
Right. So usually, clinical hypnotherapy is directly we go into the main core issue, right? So though we have a consultation where we try to understand each other because there has to be a comfort that is built, that's always a free consultation. Okay. But after that, we suggest 6 sessions.
6 sessions.
Yeah, it's just 6 sessions because of fast therapy. So in this 6 sessions, there would be it might take first session, sometimes third session, sometimes people, the last session is where they break through for a particular issue. But 6 sessions is what we suggest.
And how is it spaced? Is it once a month, or depends upon the person when you have the next session?
So it usually depends on the person and the awareness that has come with each session.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs some time for it to like anchor in the client. Sometimes it can be faster.
Okay.
So it depends on what is the awareness the client has got.
Okay.
And along with the awareness, there are techniques, there are breathing exercise that we have to, we tell them to do. So there is a responsibility the client also has to take. It's not just the facilitator or the therapist,
Right.
can do the work. So it is spread out.
Okay,
Spread out.
That's nice to know. And one thing I've noticed, I think women in general tend to take it more seriously in terms of getting help, be it clinical hypnotherapy or be it even just therapy. I think women are generally more willing to do that. In your experience, do you have a lot of male clients who are willing to explore hypnotherapy? If so, what do you think is important for men to be more serious about therapy in general?
Yeah. Like I said, therapy is something, there are different modalities that people connect with. Some people with therapy, some people would find their answers with meditation, some people would just find their answers with an angelic Reiki. So it's like different kind of people resonating with different kind of modalities.
Understood.
What I would say is, you could try and see what works for you and pick up what works for you, right? So now coming back to men, what happens with men is as they grow up, it is not a very nice thing or a cool thing for a man to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because the moment a boy cries, the first thing that they might say is, oh, you're a boy. You're not supposed to cry. Be a strong guy.
Because society looks down on men being vulnerable. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's understandable. And they are the providers. They have to stand strong.
Yeah.
And they have been doing great in that. But having said that, they are also humans who might have these belief systems and not worthy feelings. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So and it is very difficult for them to find that safe space because they will always feel like I'll be judged. Will I be judged if I say that I'm feeling this way?
Yeah.
Will I be judged if I say that my relationship is not okay? There is so much pressure on them that they are not able to open up. But with me, I think I have many male clients, and it takes a lot of courage to come and sit down and say that this is what is not working for me. So I say, men or women, if something is not working for you, there's no harm in seeking help. There's no harm. I'm not saying it's only clinical hypnotherapy. There are so many ways. Just the simple mindfulness techniques. Use that. But you don't have to be stuck forever.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's very important also, that men shouldn't feel the pressure from society that they should always be strong.
Yeah.
I think it's important even for them to be vulnerable and have that emotional release, if I can say.
Yeah.
I think would just make it better for them.
True.
And Keerthi, I have so many questions that I want to ask you. But okay, in terms of work, right? How can therapy or clinical hypnotherapy help a person? For example, I procrastinate a lot. I'm a big time procrastinator. I wait for the last minute and then I make it, but I wait for the last minute. If I have 2-3 weeks, I just don't make use of it.
Yeah.
But, it's just a pattern I've noticed in me. But let's say that I'm just using that as an example in a workspace. So how can this help someone like me or someone with similar issues?
So procrastination is the biggest issue in career growth. And we all have had that. Oh, I was a big procrastinator. You have no idea. I was such a big procrastinator. But as I went, as I stepped into this journey, one of the main reasons why we procrastinate, is because of the fear of failure or the fear of success.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
So both these reasons, like for example, if you ask me, I used to procrastinate, right? So my therapist had asked me, why, what is the benefit that you're getting when you procrastinate? So my first answer is, there's no benefit. No, I'm losing my time. I'm not using my potential. I'm pushing things away till the last minute, and I'm waiting to get into trouble to do something. Okay, how can there be a benefit? We went down. We there were more questions, and I started thinking, what is the benefit? Why is that I did not do this at this point of time? So my answer was, what if I make a mistake? Right? I did not even try. So it's like, what if I make a mistake? I can wait for a bit more, get all the information, and then do it right. Again, it goes, so the next question is, what if I make a mistake? If I make a mistake, the normal answer should be, okay, I can correct it and move forward. If I make a mistake, what if I get judged? Right?
Yeah.
So the fear of judgment, the fear of failure makes you to stop taking that first action.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing in procrastination. So that fear of failure also comes from deep inside. Then you have to find out, where is that thought coming from?
Okay.
Why do you have so much fear? Because these emotions are not authentic.
Right.
These are like, let's say, fear, failure, fear of success. These are not authentic emotions. We picked it up from somewhere. We would have seen someone having these fears, right? The same way, one of my clients, her dad was super busy that he did not give her time at all.
Right.
And she never wanted to be so busy in life. So she procrastinated with the fear of success. She's like, if I get this busy,
Right.
I won't have time for my family. So these two things, again, goes back to the belief system we hold. And it stops us from growing.
All right. So, Keerthi, you're doing clinical hypnotherapy, and you started your own, what was it, a company that you would say, Purple Sanctum? Or
It's actually a space. It's just a space on Instagram right now to bring some awareness on mental health.
Okay.
And I share my experiences with clients so that if anybody resonates and if it is helpful, why not?
Correct.
So for me, Sparsh, I would say I got this awareness, let's say, when I was 35 or 36 now, right? I wish I knew this when I was 25 or when I was 18. And it would have saved me from a lot of things, a lot of chaotic experiences in life.
Right.
If only I knew, if only I was self-aware. So my idea is to just bring that little awareness somewhere to people.
Earlier on.
Yeah, in the way I can. Like, having said that, everything happens at the right time and the right place.
Yes.
I believe in it.
I was just going to say,
Absolutely.
you wouldn't
So-
be where you are if all of that didn't happen, right?
Didn't happen. But life could be easier.
Yes.
A lot more easier for a lot of us.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this turbulent if you get a little bit of awareness of yourself. So therapy, this journey has helped me understand myself more. And when I understood myself more, from a victim state, I moved into a more empowered state. So now I was not victimizing myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When I victimize, I would be blaming the other person
Yeah.
or the other situations.
Right.
Now I understood why I would have attracted that, why this happened or why that happened. And if you're a little aware a little early, the earlier the better. That's what I say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And Keerthi, how do you go about, let's say if someone wants to have a session with you, is it just individual sessions that you do, or do you do at a corporate level workshops, or is it just limited to the UAE, or people from other parts of the world can reach out to you as well? How can we get hold of you?
Yeah. So I do online sessions
Okay.
and I also meet in person.
Okay.
Both works completely
I was
fine.
just going to ask, does it make a difference online? And,
Actually, no. So initially, when I wasn't sure about online when I started therapies, but most of my clients were online because a lot of them from India and now UK as well. So when I started doing it, and it just worked completely fine. So what we do is, initially there will be a consultation to understand what the client is looking at.
Yeah.
And also they need to understand me as a person to see if I am the one, who can facilitate the sessions. So it's built on trust. So during the initial 1 hour consultation, we explain how I work. They will explain what they are looking for from therapy. And then we build the sessions. So they can contact, it's a free consultation always.
Okay.
So after that, they can decide whether they want to pick it up.
All right, that's amazing. Even for corporate workshops, or it's the same approach.
So corporate workshops I started doing recently.
Okay.
So me and another friend of mine, actually, she's also a therapist.
Okay.
So we have made this program together.
Okay.
So we are moving forward with this particular program for corporates as well.
Okay, that's going to be really fun and interesting.
Yeah.
What's next for Keerthi?
What's next for Keerthi? So the plan eventually is to work with kids, to work with children. So
Okay.
I'm not sure when and how it's going to start.
Yeah.
So the small things like, let's say, breathing exercises or carrying a gratitude journal or helping them express their emotions
Right.
in a safe space.
Right.
These things will make them be more mindful about their action, or as they grow up, there will be a more healthier subconscious mind that gets formed.
Oh, Keerthi, that's a really nice.
You know what I'm saying?
It's really nice.
It doesn't have to be so chaotic. And when they reach at a point, I'm not saying all the issues are, I'm not saying all the problems are going to get solved in one day. But it's a neural pathway that is created in these kids' brains too, right? It's a belief system that is built. So when negative belief systems are happening, if we can give them some kind of positive things, some kind of awareness about how they can do these things, how they can create a neural pathway with writing gratitude journal. Because every time you write 10 things that you are grateful for, you will find more things to be grateful for, because that's how your brain starts looking at it. It's very scientific. It's not like, it's not pseudoscience. It's very scientific that there is a neural pathway which each thing that you say that you're grateful for, and it becomes a very strong belief system. Gratefulness becomes your program, and you will attract more things to be grateful for.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I want to work with children and to help them slowly.
I'm sure you'll be fantastic at it, and I hope you start it ASAP.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's it from my side. Keerthi, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. I learned so much about a theory, about a concept that I had no idea about, had a lot of preconceived notions, which you very successfully took care of. So thank you, Keerthi. I really, really appreciate you taking all the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sparsh. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. Thank you. Well, that's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you found it informative, and I hope it was useful and it gave you more information into what clinical hypnotherapy is. So guys, if you are interested in setting up your own business or company, don't know how to go about it, please reach out to Keerthi. And if you are interested in clinical hypnotherapy for yourself or for someone you know or for a workshop, again, you can always reach out to her. I've mentioned the links to both her handles in the description below. So yes, please give her a ping. So again, that's it for today. And until next time, please keep smashing it, keep growing, and relentlessly chase your dreams, guys.